NBA refs this season are absolute trash. Like, what is this travel where he took 4 steps and the refs didn't call it? And it seems like NBA refs absolutely hate Jayson Tatum because he got teed up for hanging on the rim on this play. But that wasn't enough because they gave him another tech later this season for also hanging on the rim. Also, how can you eject a guy for complaining about a call when this wasn't called a foul? Yeah, I would be fuming if I were Jaren Jackson Jr. This just gives you a glimpse of how bad refs have been this season. But these are the top 15 calls of the season where the refs totally screwed it up. At number 15, I've seen so many players do this celebration before, but watch what happens when NBA champion Giannis responds with it. He goes in for a monster poster over Isaiah Stewart and pulls out the too small celebration. The refs gave him a technical foul for taunting after this, and since it was his second tech, he got ejected. But bro, for real, how is this taunting? Why aren't you allowed to show any emotion? I've seen Pat Bev use this too small taunt 100 times throughout his career, and he never gets teed up for that. But seriously, it seems like Giannis got ejected just for glancing at Isaiah Stewart. We previewed some of Tatum's frustrations at the start of this video, but here he got absolutely hacked when driving to the rim. But the ref dropped his whistle, so no foul was called. In real time, it's kind of hard to see, but when you slow it down, yeah, this man got smacked. Tatum argued with the refs, but he got ejected from the game because of it. And it's super embarrassing for the refs to show a replay with a clear foul and then you eject the player for complaining about it. Is Tatum supposed to be content and just be like, yeah, you guys missed it, but it's all good? Tatum, however, wasn't the only player who got a silly technical foul for hanging on the rim, since LeBron seriously got in trouble for doing a flashy pull-up. If you think LeBron pays the refs, then they wouldn't have called this, but NBA refs really are trying to act like they own the league. Honestly, I think the NBA should consider changing the hang on the rim rule because I think LeBron shouldn't have got penalized here. Like, come on, he was just trying to get some reps on the pull-up bar during the game. If you thought these are crazy, stay tuned though, because these next few just get worse and worse. Okay, this one wasn't about the foul call itself, but how are you going to eject Kyle Kuzma from the game for clapping his hands like this? I get it, it probably was a foul, the ref may have missed it, and it could have been argued that it was clean, but it's an outrage considering he was ejected for a slight chirp to the ref. Like, I don't understand why, but it seems like we're seeing more ref highlights on YouTube that are trending this season than actual player highlights. Kuzma getting ejected from this was super shocking, but I honestly think it was more shocking that the Pistons were up 10 at this point in the game. This next clip features another insane ejection. So DeAndre Jordan basically got called for an offensive foul here, and I agree, I think this was a foul since it looks like he blatantly pushes Isaiah Jackson, but honestly I think it's still questionable. Jackson might have embellished it a little bit. So Jordan got his first tech of the game when he was arguing with the ref here. But let's fast forward to later in the game during the fourth quarter. Jordan sets a ball screen and gets called for a moving screen, and he got heated from this. And it was the same ref that got him the first tech earlier on in this game, so it almost seemed personal from this call. After arguing, the ref gave him another technical foul and he got ejected from the game. This ref was really trying his best to get in the national spotlight. I'm trying my best to understand this next clip since it has so much going on. So we got Lakers versus Grizzlies with a loose ball. Both LeBron and Jaren Jackson Jr. both dove on the ground for the rock, which at first it looks like good hustle, but apparently LeBron landed on Jackson. Then as LeBron goes to pass the ball, it looks as if he punches Jaren Jackson in the face. So before we get to see what happens next, I think there should have been a foul called here for some kind of stoppage because there was easily a foul during this sequence, whether it was on LeBron or on Jaren Jackson Jr. The ref says play on as no foul was called, so this resulted in Taylor Jenkins, the head coach of the Grizzlies, to rush on the court. Bro, it looked like he was about to enter into a full court press and he was fuming with anger, but then Taurean Prince runs into Coach Jenkins and tries to get a foul drawn. Like, bro, what is he doing? So the ref decides to give Jenkins a technical foul. Honestly, this was a 2000 IQ play by Taurean Prince, but this angle here easily looks like a foul on LeBron as he dove on Jaren Jackson. So should there have been a tech in the first place if the ref should have stopped the play from a foul here? I feel like it's almost normal for ref these days to give a tech for missing a call. It's literally a lock basically every game. Like here, Curry shoots a floater and gets completely shoved from behind. There's no way you just randomly fall over like this. So Curry was running back on defense and the ref gave him a tech for something that he said. Watching Curry explain the foul was so funny as he demonstrated the push, but it's laughable that the refs penalize players for simply breathing. I can't watch any games these days without seeing a dumb tech. You would never think a nice guy like Jokic could ever get ejected, especially for a dude who plays basketball as a side hustle. Here Jokic probably got fouled on the layup, and as he was running back on defense, it looked as he said some words to the ref, but it's not like he was fuming or causing a scene or anything, but somehow the ref was infuriated enough to send Jokic to the locker room. You know it was a bad call when even the Chicago Bulls fans don't even agree with it. It almost looked as if Vucevic was confused too that he got away with a foul. You for real can't even have a civilized conversation with a ref without getting punished. If you didn't know it at this point, the NBA is actually planning on giving the refs the MVP award this season since they've been the main character. Here Trae Young drives and gets hacked. Like, bro, you can't have his arms locked in there like that. Young was then frustrated about the no call and gets called for this weak reaching foul. If you are Trae Young, you got no other option than to argue because you can't just walk on defense and forget about this. I think we now have enough evidence in this video alone that just shows how every NBA team has had their best player ejected at some point this season. Young, however, does have a history of getting techs, but I support him here. Alright, you guys might all be surprised by this one, but the fact that Dillon Brooks is in this video just shows how bad the NBA refs have been this season, because this may have been the only time I've ever defended Dillon Brooks in my entire life. Here, he was hustling his butt off to keep the ball in bounds, and the ref called this a flopping tech. A flopping tech. How is this a flopping tech? This is not a flop at all. He jumped to save the ball, dude. Like, this is so bad. Oh, and then they ejected him for arguing? Like, is he just supposed to let the ball go out of bounds? Thanks to NBA refs, it's no longer Dillon the villain, but Dillon the hero. This next sequence features a major free throw differential between the Lakers and Raptors. During the fourth quarter of this game, the Lakers shot 23 free throws, while the Raptors shot a total of 2. Yeah, that's an insane differential in one quarter. And considering the Raptors lost by 1 point, the refs wanted the Lakers to win this game. I don't think I can explain this any better than the Raptors head coach.
How you gonna explain that to me? They had to win tonight? If that's the case, just let us know so we don't show up for the game. Just give them a win.
This clip just proves a big reason why people believe the refs favor LeBron and the Lakers. I didn't believe it at first until I saw this replay of this in-season tournament game. It's the fourth quarter with 11 seconds. LeBron inbounds the ball to Reeves and it turns into a loose ball, but the ref blows his whistle and gives the Lakers a timeout. But wait, bro, hold up. Run this back. Let's look and see when the Lakers called a timeout. So right here, the ball is clearly out of Reeves' hands, and I don't see a single Laker calling for a timeout. Then right here, LeBron calls for a timeout as the ball is on the ground rolling with no one in clear possession. Like, there's no way the Lakers had possession of this ball. This honestly makes sense because how did the Lakers win the NBA in-season tournament yet are on the brink of missing the playoffs? If you thought these were wild, wait until these next three because they are the worst of the entire season. Even though it seems like the Lakers get every call, and yeah, I agree, the in-season tournament could have been rigged, but if it was rigged, then we gotta explain this. LeBron pulls up for a three-pointer and knocks it down to tie the game up, but wait, the ref ruled it a 2? LeBron's initial reaction is priceless, and here we have probably the greatest meme this NBA season, and honestly, I was just waiting for Pat Bev to come out with the camera. But LeBron rushed to the monitor and points showing that his foot was clearly behind the line. To me, you can see the space between his foot and the line. Other people were saying that his foot moved. But either way, this was a controversial call, and the refs just told LeBron that it didn't matter if his foot was behind the line or not since they probably had money on the game. Like, how is LeBron older than these refs, but he can still see better than all of them? This next one doesn't feature a player ejection, believe it or not, but it was actually Kings head coach Mike Brown. On this play, Fox is going around a screen. It looks like Payne hooked his arm in there. So Mike Brown steps out onto the court and gets in the path of Pat Connaughton while trying to get into the official's face, and the ref ejects him from the game. Now, this foul that he wanted to be called, they said it was a little bit of a clamp, but it kind of looks like Payne was trying to take Fox to prom. But this ejection was just a buildup of horrible officiating throughout the entire game, because Mike Brown pulled up to the post-game conference with his laptop and looked as if he was presenting a project to a class. He showed multiple plays when the refs called a soft foul, and he also argued about the free throw differential being 19-5 in the first half. But the craziest thing in his argument was when the refs were changing their explanation of a foul throughout the game. He basically said, how am I not supposed to be upset when the refs don't even know the rules and they practically change them from game to game? Bad reffing is the worst when it causes you to lose a game. In this Jaylen Brown clip, man, this really boiled my blood. So Celtics vs Pacers are tied with a few seconds left. Brown takes a jumper and the refs called a foul because he got hit in the head. And this was honestly a great call by the ref because in real time, it doesn't look like a foul. So the Pacers decided to challenge it, and looking back at the replay, it's clear that Brown gets hit in the head by Buddy Hield, which caused him to miss the shot. But this is when things get really interesting. Even after the refs reviewed the call, they decided to overturn it. Like, bro, how do you get a call right when he clearly gets hit in the head and then reverse it even with the evidence showing that it was a foul? So then the Pacers get the ball with a few seconds left and Mathurin shoots a 3 for the win and misses. But they called a foul on Tingus Pingus. Man, this is just laughable. You wonder why people think the NBA is rigged? Pacers ended up getting the win from the made free throws. And Buddy Hield even admitted after the game in a post-game interview that he fouled Jaylen Brown, and you can see he was trying to hold back a smile. Jaylen Brown after the game demanded an investigation. He said that the ref told him that he didn't get hit in the head and straight up lied to his face.
Yeah, I asked him, did I get hit in the head? Because that was the one question that I wanted to make sure that we both, and he said no. And I asked him again, are you sure? And he said yes.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what's going to happen because we have some great evidence about the horrible officiating this season so far, and we still have a lot of basketball left to play, but honestly, something needs to be done about how bad the refs have been this season because it's outrageous.